Call us, email us, tweet, or Facebook us to join the conversation. We want to hear from you.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. The child lovingly tucked into bed the night before vanishes at the hands of a stranger. When little Keenan Hebert was stolen from his bed sometime after being tucked in on the night of September 6th, his family lost more than their son. They lost some of their faith in our justice system.
So here's Keenan's room right here. We got toys everywhere, of course. So it's not bedtime yet. The toys get picked up at bedtime. This is Keenan's bed right over here.
It should be the ultimate place of safety and security, but even the brand new superhero bedding tells the tale that for Keenan Hebert, it was not. Spider-Man replaces blankets confiscated by police for evidence.
Well, it's, you know, we went to sleep that night. Keenan was in bed, and we woke up in the morning, he was gone.
And we looked like everywhere. We looked for his blankets, and we looked every little nook and cranny, but I think Paul phoned. It didn't take very long. I was still looking, and he was on the phone, and they were here maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes for RCMP, so they were really fast.
So what kind of mobilization went into place then?
Within 45 minutes, Search and Rescue had their mobility vehicle here, and they already started getting teams together for Search and Rescue. What we had to do is we had to stop the search so that we can get the dogs out here from Granbrook. And they were here very quickly, within an hour. They were actually, an hour and 15 minutes, they were actually here from the call. So we couldn't ask for a faster response. And by afternoon, they already had helicopters. Well, that morning by 9 o'clock, when we realized things were going, they already had helicopters flying out here from Kelowna.
It was scary.
It was so crazy even for us that we didn't really know how many people were here, but I'm going to say within an hour we must have had about 300, 400 people.
Paul and Tammy have nothing but good to say about how the police did their job. Every possible thing that could be done was done to get their son back. And they're grateful for the support of their Sparwood, British Columbia community. Cards and letters from well-wishers, cake and food made for the family as a sign of support.
Well, I think there was an initial rush to how can we help, how can we support. Once Search and Rescue came into play, once the meals were starting to be organized, it was kind of everyone found their own niche where they were most comfortable to help. I kind of found like I thought I should be available for family and tried not to say too much and tried not to get in the way too much, but just tried to be there if you needed a shoulder to cry on or if you needed to talk.
Paul would need to talk. The pain of not knowing where or how Keenan was enormous. Paul took that uncertainty to God in prayer.
It's like your heart was ripped out of your chest, right? But at the same time, you know, we had to keep it together so that we could find him. Guilt's going through you now by not being the protective father that I could be. You know, you're starting to think, well, what if I did this and what if I did that? You're worried, so the whole night you're thinking about how can I take care of him when I'm not around, and how's life going to be without him? Because now we got to prepare ourselves as well. God's got it under control, but what God's will is might not be the same will I have. And the reality is we got to start building up that strength to say, well, he might be passed on. And it's just asking God for the strength to pull through. You know, just the fact that someone came in the middle of the night and took Keenan, you know, I should have heard him. I should have been able to be there to protect him, but I wasn't asleep.
Suspicion quickly focused in on one suspect, Randall Hopley, a local handyman with a string of break-and-enter convictions. He'd done time for sexual assault. And then a break in the investigation. Police traced computer activity connected to the suspect to this Bible camp. Closed for the season, the camp is a 10-minute drive from the Heberts' home in Sparwood.
They arrived Tuesday morning to search for an individual, I'm assuming. An individual that eventually they told us had broken into our office and used our internet. They had tracked that somehow, so they knew that it was our internet that he had used. And so they came knowing that he was in the area somewhere, and looking for him. So they checked all the buildings here and there wasn't anybody here. There was no evidence of anybody having been here or stayed here or broken into any of the other buildings.
Meanwhile, Paul and Tammy Hebert made a public plea directly to the kidnapper for the return of their son.
We're just asking, please bring Keenan to a safe place right now. Okay? Like a gas station or a store parking lot where he's visibly seen and you could just drop him off there.
The kidnapper responded. Later that night, the RCMP received a phone call saying Keenan was in his family home. From a neighboring property where his family was staying, Paul saw the police activity and rushed home.
RCMP told me to stop so they can go in before me and secure the area. And then they found Keenan sleeping on a chair. Yeah, it was, and to see that, it was overwhelming. You know, just fell to my knees and it was like a complete melt. You know, just like it melted down to the bottom. I held on to him until his mother came and then I gave him to Tammy.
And as soon as I come in the door and I see Paul holding him, I just fell and Paul was holding him and I had to like pry him away from Paul to get him, and I don't think I let go of him for a good couple hours anyway.
By some miracle, Keenan was unharmed. And the suspect?
They eventually caught him up the road just a little ways at Greymont Lime. It's just a lime quarry and one of the old abandoned buildings there.
His son safely back and the suspect in custody, Paul Hebert is grateful for the happy ending that could have gone so wrong, but he's also had time to reflect on who is responsible.
Well, again, the justice system is a celestial system that's out there right now. And we do, of course, believe that it has failed our family in protecting our family.
Paul has met with the accused and concludes,
he still has to be accountable for what he's done, and the Canadian justice will give him what he deserves for that accountability section. But as Christians, we also have to find it in our heart to forgive him, or else would we not be just as much of a hypocrite as the next person. We ask God for our forgiveness for what we've done, and he asks us to do the same thing as well.
And now it's time to find out what you think. Who do you trust to keep you safe? Is it family? Is it police? Is it government? Is it a higher power? We want to hear from you, so you can give us your answers by calling your viewer feedback line at 1-800-215-4913. Or you can send us your opinion through comments at contextwithlorna.com. You can find us at Twitter, at Context TV, at facebook.com/Context TV. Well, the Heberts may have lost their faith in Canada's justice system, but they insist their faith in God never wavered. Unbelievable? Stay with us and we'll find out.
A lot of people think that we were strong. Well, we weren't strong, you know, we were being carried.